Hey, how's it going? It's your challenger coach, IWDominate, here to bring you our sleeper picks of the patch for 10.3. Quick disclaimer though, no, it will not include Soraka solo lane. This champion might put you to sleep, but it shouldn't really be considered sleeper pick anymore, so with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. First up for the top lane, we have a champion you all know to fear from the jungle, but he's also amazing in top lane, and that's RENGAR. This is a pick that is currently abusing what Season 10 top lane is all about. Absurd healing? Check. Able to abuse alcoves and new triple brush? Check. Able to 1v2 ganks because for some reason junglers have a pact where only one of them shows up to top lane? Double check. And most importantly, he can use his ultimate to roam and leave the top lane to go kill more impactful lanes. For his core build, you're going to want to go Black Cleaver into Essence Reaver and then GA, giving you both burst, pick potential, DPS to win the split push game, and GA so you can actually do something in teamfights. Pick him up if you like jumping from brush to brush and you need a counter to ranged top laners as he can actually reach them, or if you just want to smash a gangplank. Next up, now I did say I wouldn't mention Soraka, but we still got SONA top lane as another OP enchanter. Currently holds a 57% win rate and a 1% play rate. Yeah, I'll just let that speak for itself, as she's got similar strengths to Soraka top lane. But the main difference is that while Soraka carries through utility, SONA top actually carries through absurd burst damage, scaling, and is even easier than Soraka. Wanna know why she's easier? She's got less skill shots, and she's got less hitting. Wait. What do you mean less hitting? Yeah, she goes Shard of True Ice as one of her core items, followed by Lichbane and then Death Cap. After that, you should also pick up Rapid Fire Cannon, Medjai's, Athene's Unholy Grail, or Azania's to round out the build with some Sorc Shoes. Runes are gonna go Dark Harvest Precision Secondary for more damage and more mana. You're gonna want to pick up SONA top lane if Soraka is either banned or after she gets nerfed, because SONA top's not on Riot's radar right now. Looks like we have another jungle champion who's performing better in a solo lane, you know, the lanes where you get actually good income and XP, that's Nocturne. He's just one of those champions that has surprisingly good dueling as a jungler, capable of even beating champions like Lee Sin. Then you remember, he's also got extremely good dueling, well, in general, not just from the jungle, and he's got amazing wave clear, so his top lane potential is quite good. Due to his spell shield, he's able to smash a lot of traditional top laners like Jax, Aurelia, or Aatrox, who have almost no hope of winning versus him, especially Aurelia. That is just a completely free matchup. And just like RENGAR, he can easily roam away from top lane with his ultimate to impact more impactful lanes. For his build, you're going to want to go Sanguini Blade into Black Cleaver Duskblade as your core, followed by items like Edge of Night or GA, and for runes, Lethal Tempo is the most popular, but Conqueror appears to be the strongest with Resolve Secondary for top lane specifically. Pick up Nocturne top lane if you like a strong 1v1 champion who can split push, but is also able to have great roaming potential and actually impact the game from top lane. In the jungle, our first sleeper pick is gonna be Wizard Shyvana. There is actually a non-AP build running around at the moment that is quite strong in high elo, and if you want me to feature it at some point, let me know in the comment section below. But that's a little too sleeper for now, so let's focus more on her most common build and frankly more fun style, which is full AP. With the new changes to the jungle helping her out even more as farming junglers get better, Shyvana is unironically one of the best scaling picks from the jungle that you can have. Once she hits 2+ items, she's able to easily wipe a teamfight on her own just off spamming fireballs. I actually kid you not, no matter how many times I see AP Shyvana shoot out her E, it's gonna catch people off guard with how much damage it does, and it's really funny to see people just completely just get one-shot by it. For her build, it's Blue Smite, Runic Echoes into Nashor's Tooth second, followed by a Death Cap as your core. For her runes, it's Dark Harvest with either Sorcery Secondary for better scaling or Inspiration for better early to mid game, which I prefer more lately. Pick up Wizard Shyvana if you like farm heavy champions who scale well in the jungle and just gets to sit back and one-shot people with a single fireball. Speaking of fireballs, next sleeper pick will be the complete opposite of that, and that's Nunu. I know we were all a little tired of seeing him in Season 9, and so people were probably pretty happy when in the preseason he wasn't doing as well, but Nunu is back and he's actually doing pretty good ever since the jungle changes came in. Even with the jungle lacking in XP in general post buffs, the jungle meta is being pushed towards champions who can gank early but still be useful on low income. Well, luckily for Nunu, he has some of the best level 2 and level 3 ganks in the entire game, while still scaling well into the late game, especially when combined with the increase in enchanters to keep him alive even longer, which is why you're going to see more and more tanks enter the meta despite lacking in dueling potential. For his core build, you're gonna go Blue Smite Cinderhulk with Spear Visage Deadman's Plate as your core, but feel free to throw in items like Stone Plate or Warmogs when you need them. For his runes, you're still gonna want to go as tanky as possible, so stick with Aftershock and Sorcery Secondary for even better gank. You're gonna want to pick up Nunu if you like tank junglers that can gank early. Just remember to ban Trundle, otherwise you're pretty much trolling. In mid lane, our first pick is actually extremely popular in both Korean and Chinese challenger solo queue, but not so much in the West or even in EU, and that's Pantheon. Let me tell you, this champion from mid lane compared to top lane is actually allowed to freely roam, skirmish, or ult the other side lanes, and is a lot easier for unlocking his true potential to snowball as a champion. He also happens to be, you know, the perfect counter to almost every single assassin champion, which is all anyone plays at the moment. So if you see someone have the audacity to lock in Kassadin, Fizz, or Yasuo blind, just insta-lock Panth on them and make them rethink every single life decision they made up until that point in time. For his build, you're gonna go Ghostblade, Black Cleaver into Edge of Night, GA, or Sterox is pretty much your choice, although my personal preference is Edge of Night. For his runes, you're gonna go Conqueror as probably the best choice, along with Inspiration Secondary to get him even more laning power. Pick up Pantheon mid lane if you hate assassin mid lane players who just spam roam all game. Looking at you, Talon and Katarina mains, this pick's for you. Next up, another sleeper pick designed to destroy assassin picks, but it has the sustain to deal with mages too, and that's Frost Mage CHO'GATH. Cho's just always been extremely annoying for assassin players to deal with due to his instant silence and targetable nuke, while also having the passive sustain to stay out of kill range. It's just that even with that, his tank style doesn't have the carry potential you need to get picks in solo queue to 1v9. But when you go Hextech, GLP, and Twin Shadows into Deathcap as your core items, you better believe you got the damage to carry a game when you take Glacial Augment in your rune setup, which might have something to do with his 54% win rate in Plat Plus. With this setup, not only do you get the damage to carry a game, but because of the slows, your Q is just impossible to dodge, letting you easily combo people to death on your own. I am aware there's a Comet Protobelt setup, which is even more one-shot focused, but the Glacial Augment one just feels more consistent to me. Try it out if you like a tanky mid laner who can still one-shot people and has very little counterplay once he gets items. Last but not least for mid lane, we have the champion everyone forgets is overpowered till he roams to your lane and kills you over and over again, which is Space Dragon Aurelion Sol. This champion has for the entire season been sitting above 55% win rate in Plat Plus with around a 1% play rate, which is pretty insane when you think about it. Though this champion's learning curve is super high, there is no doubt that the investment is worth it, as the likelihood he gets nerfed anytime soon is pretty low, as I would think even Riot has forgotten about him as they're, you know, too busy discussing potential Akali changes or even Ahri skins, which, you know, to be honest, I am looking forward to, so keep up the good work. As for how Aurelion Sol plays, I wouldn't really call him a lane kingdom type of champion, more so laning kingdom, as all lanes belong to him, as his roaming potential is equivalent to Talon's, but is just safer because, you know, he's a mage. If you feel like putting in the time to learn Aurelion Sol, I would highly recommend you actually pick up this champion, as it will allow you to quickly climb up the ladder once you do master him. First up for ADC, we have, well, not actually an ADC, and it's Tilterella. During the first month of the season, there was a bit of hype over this pick as a bot laner, as the rank 1 Korean player was a bot lane Tilterella one-trick, sparking some people to try it out, but since then, its play rate has plummeted despite how it didn't get nerfed at all, and it's still really good. Now, I will be honest, this pick does have a drawback, where it's not actually very good with enchanters, but if you get a melee support that can set up your combo with their CC or engage, like Leona, Nautilus, Pike, or Thresh, then this pick snowballs extremely hard and extremely easily. So as long as you're picking it with another CC champion, it pretty much plays itself. You just farm until your support lands some CC. Might take a little bit, I understand that, but hang in there. And once they do, just combo on top of it, giving you a free kill pretty much every time. It's kind of like playing the champion on easy mode, as you don't truly have to learn how to play Tilterella because all the hard stuff is already set up for you by your support. So after you're done stomping bot lane, you'll actually even have options to roam to mid lane and spread your influence, unlike actual other bot lane picks. You're going to want to try out Tilterella if you're looking for a mage bot lane option and your support can actually pick or play an engaged champion. Next up, we do have an ADC, but you haven't probably seen him in a while, and that's KOG'MAW. With the increased amount of tank champions or frontline champions in general, you need someone who's able to kill them, and similar as to why Vayne is moving up in win rate, KOG'MAW is as well. And when you combine that with some of his favorite lane partners like Lulu, Nami, and Janna being quite strong in the current meta, Koggers isn't really looking like a bad option anymore. Just like with Tilterella though, you will need to confirm your support isn't going to pick Pike on you before locking in KOG'MAW, but as long as that doesn't happen, he is a champion that is silently beating up on the meta picks at the moment. And is a champion, dare I say, that is actually capable of killing an Ornn. So I would pick up KOG'MAW if you got a Lulu Duo Q combo so that you can 2v8. This next champion has been considered trash for a while now, but is in fact resurrected from the Shadow Realm, and that's Kalista. Now I should warn you, this champion does require solid mechanics, and low ping is going to help you out a lot, so probably not an NA pick. But some of her best support pairings are really strong at the moment, allowing her to shine in a meta where you gotta be able to Kai melee champions. Kalista just does extremely well with champions like Nautilus, Thresh, Leona, Braum, Alistar, or even Taric, which is a combo that was debuted in LCK recently, giving her a lot of viable lane partners to try and snowball the game with. Of course, the problem with Kalista and solo queue is she does have a lot of things gating her. She needs her support to know how to proc her passive, she needs her support to know how to use the ultimate, she needs a support, she needs lowish ping and solid mechanics, and so she isn't really for everyone. But the champion's strength in the current meta is the real deal, as she is capable of snowballing the landing phase versus a lot of the mobile ADC picks like Jinx, for example, that are really popular at the moment. So if I were you, if you had a duo queue, or if you're really confident in your mechanics, I would pick her up. Moving to support, our first sleeper pick is a champion that's just strong in general, but decided to focus on his most popular role, which is support Zilean. A wise man once said, "Can't kill you in the Zilean," and it holds true to this day, as the champion not only makes it incredibly hard for him to die, but he also makes it so that anyone on his team is incredibly hard to kill, which is one of the main reasons he excels so much in solo queue regardless of what role he's actually in. He is capable of turning a teammate getting caught while face checking Baron into an actual positive engage or bait for the team due to the ultimate simply reviving them after the enemy team blows too many CDs, thinking they got a free kill. He's also really good at getting carried, and that's not a joke. It is a very positive trait for a champion to have. It is actually so easy if you're a fed carry player playing with the Zilean speeding you up. You can just play as aggressively as you want, knowing you can easily dodge things or get revived when you inevitably screw up. This is what makes Zilean an incredibly reliable champion at obtaining LP, and the biggest bonus to playing him support has to be not being forced to actually use his auto attack animation to last hit, which I believe to be the worst in the entire game. Next up, we have an even less popular champion than Zilean, and that's Treeman Maokai support. Currently holding a 54% win rate, though a really small play rate, Maokai support is actually doing really well. The reason for it is pretty simple. He counters engage support similarly as to why Shaco support was a thing for a little bit. With Maokai Q, he can just stuff most engages, while his saplings are amazing brush control versus all of the melee supports. Later on, his ult is great teamfight counter engage, while the rest of his kit is, pretty much you just stand on top of your carries and peel, but there's nothing like a targeted route to ruin an assassin's day. Try out Maokai support if you need a counter to Leona or Nautilus. And lastly, we have one of the strongest scaling supports who also happens to counter hard engage, and that's Taric. One of the best things about playing Taric is he's possibly the best scaling melee support in the game. He excels at teamfights, and he's great at stopping divers. And guess what? What's the meta right now? Oh right, it's all about teamfighting and heavy engage comps. So due to Taric ultimate, the initial engage will always fail from the enemy team, followed by Taric just smacking around the enemy divers around, which will fuel him to easily pump out enough stuns and heals to keep the rest of his team alive. Now he does suffer into actual enchanters like Sona, for example, so try to avoid them unless you are paired with aggressive champions like Lucian or Kalista who can snowball versus them in the laning phase, which is because Taric is pretty passive versus most ranged champions in lane. Pick up Taric if you want a counter to melee supports or just want to win every single team fight. Thanks for watching our 10.3 sleeper picks of the patch video. Make sure to check out our other YouTube comment, our LOR stuff, or our site at mobalytics.gg. I'm Adam Moriarty Isles, and hopefully I'll see you out on the Rift.